Well, happy Friday, guys! And today I have a really fun video for you. It's a collab video that I'm doing with several of my sister friends out there, fellow canners. You know them as Linda from Linda's Pantry, Leisa from Sutton's Days, Mandy from More to Life, and Christina from over at Wilhelm's Kitchen. All fantastic canners and my go-to girls when whenever I'm stumped or need some help on canning. And we were all chit-chatting the other day, and we thought it would be really fun to talk about, because we get asked a lot if we liked something that we canned, if we didn't like it, how it worked for us. So we thought it would be really fun to do a collab video for you guys, showing some of the things that we have canned that we love, and some of the things that we canned that we didn't love so much. So just kind of an insider. Now, all of our answers are going to be a little different, because when we were talking, some things that I just did not like when I canned them, some of the other girls absolutely loved. So keep in mind when we do this video, it's just more proof that, you know, not everything is going to work for everybody. And it is a lot of fun, to me at least, to hear and see different people's opinions on things and how they like to can it versus maybe how I can it. It has really opened me up to trying new things that I might not have considered canning. And so I think this collab video will be a lot of fun. And if any of you canners out there want to jump in and join us and be part of this collab, you are more than welcome, because we would love to hear what you have enjoyed canning, what's worked for you, and what hasn't worked so much for you. So, all right, I'm gonna spin the camera around and I'm gonna show you a few things that I absolutely love and has become a staple in my pantry, versus things that I might not can again. All right, okay, so I think I'm gonna start with the simplest, which is where most of us who can have started, where we have started, and that's making jams and jellies. So right off the bat, I'm going to say that one of my favorite, and probably the thing that I'm most famous for, the thing that most people ask me for, and that's my blueberry jam. I love my blueberry jam. It has become a staple. I can it all the time. I kind of can't keep it in my pantry, because when my boys come up or their friends come over, this is their #1 request, is if they can have a jar of my jam, of my blueberry jam. So this is probably my most favorite, and the favorite of everybody who seems to enjoy my canning. Next would probably be Matt's favorite, and this is Noreen's from Noreen's Kitchen, her award-winning pineapple jam. She actually won 2 state blue ribbons at the state fair with this jam, and this is Matt's favorite. And this is probably, next to my blueberry jam, this is probably my most requested as well. It is a family favorite, and it's fantastic not only on, you know, bagels and cream cheese and toast and peanut butter and jelly, but also on top of like ham or pork or anything like that. I use this all the time. And next to my blueberry jam, this is my second most canned item as far as jams and jellies go. Then, of course, would be followed by Welch's grape jelly. That is also a favorite around here. I love all of the jelly that I can from bottled unsugared juice. So that is also one of my other favorites. Pear butter. I love pear butter, and I make it in the crock pot. It's super easy. It's one of those things that kind of cook itself. This doesn't have any pectin in it or anything like that. It's just pear butter, and it's fantastic. And so this was one of my favorite things that I've canned, along with organic applesauce. And I actually made this for Mason and for Mina for baby food, and it's been a favorite. You know, crack one of these open on pork chop night and everyone is happy. So this, along with homemade cranberry jelly that I've canned, I actually have to can that again, and that is also a family favorite. Plum jam. Plum jam has been one of my favorite jams. It's very unusual, it's unique. It's not something that a lot of people have canned or have tried. So I think out of all my jams, this one always piques everyone's interest the most. When I tell them that I have plum jam, everyone seems to want to try this. So plum jam. Pear jam, I would put that right next to plum jam as something unusual and a bit unique. It's a very mellow jam. It's very sweet, and the littles seem to like this one the most. So pear jam has also been one of my favorites. I will say I am probably, with all my adult friends, the most famous for Linda's Pantry's sweet onion jam. Sweet onion jam is fantastic. You can put this on crackers and cream cheese, or you can put this on a pork loin or hamburgers. I love to put this on grilled hamburgers, along with her jalapeno apricot jelly. That is phenomenal as well. Those are two of my favorite Linda's Pantry jams that I have tried, and this has become a staple. I've made this several times in my home, and it is a favorite. Okay, and then next in my favorites really have to be pie filling. I didn't even know or realize how much or how often I would go to them, but I really use these the most. I make quick dump cakes with them. I make quick pies with them, cobblers, apple crisp, you name it. If I have pie filling on my shelf, it makes life so much easier. When somebody comes over or somebody comes into town, it's really easy just to grab it, you know, in my pantry. I'm not making anything from scratch. It's literally a pop it open and dump it, and it's fantastic. And two of my favorites are blueberry pie filling and apple pie filling. Now, these are my two go-tos. They seem to be the family favorites as far as flavors, but I really want to do some pear pie filling. I really want to do some peach. So there's some other things that I want to do, but these two are my two go-to flavors, I guess you could say, in the pie filling area, and I honestly couldn't live without them. Another thing that is a favorite of mine, and probably the thing the kids inhale the quickest, is my home canned pineapple. Now, I think I've done a video on this. Matt usually has to help me core it, but when I can find pineapple on sale for 99 cents or $1 a piece, I buy a dozen of them, core them up, and can them. This one is canned in just water, but usually I like to can it in like an apple juice. That way the kids like to drink it right out of the jar for breakfast in the morning after they've used all the pineapple. Again, makes really quick dump cakes, because dump cake, you use pineapple in it. It's good as an ice cream topping. It's good to throw in pies. It's good to throw in dishes. When Matt makes stir fry, I have pineapple on hand. The kids just crack it open and eat it as is right out of the jar, and then they drink the juice. And it is a dessert for them. So I would much rather them be eating fresh canned pineapple than cookies and milk. So as long as my kids love this, I will continue to can it, and I think I've canned it, oh my gosh, probably over a dozen times. So this is a family favorite here at the House of Coffee. Okay, so probably the most used pantry item from my extended pantry and home canned pantry that I use on a daily, almost daily, consistent basis is my home canned beans. I add beans to everything at least that I can, and when I can't add it to something, I am, you know, making refried beans for a dip on the weekends. I take this stuff camping with us. I use this stuff a lot. It's just one of my favorites. I can beans both in the quart size and in the pint size. Depending, I try to do a little of each. That way, if I just need a little can, you know, throw in a dish or a soup, I have it. Or if I'm making like homemade refried beans, I have a much bigger can. I can as many beans as I can. It's an emergency staple for me. You mix it in with rice, and you have a go-to staple in your pantry. So beans are probably my favorite to can. They're the easiest to can out of everything I can, and I just love them, and I don't know what I would do without them. And they've really put beans into our meal plan every week. Before I home canned beans, I have to be honest, other than making a chili or buying a can of refried beans for, you know, taco night, I rarely used beans, and now it is a staple in our diet, and they're so healthy for you and good for you. They're just a really good source of protein. Now I put them in everything, I swear. So this is probably my favorite thing to can and the most used thing that I can. Another thing that I love canning is ground beef. This is ground beef in beef au jus, and that is how I prefer to can it. Now, I have tried dry canning ground beef, and I did not like the texture. So now when I use it in an au jus, I love it. So ground beef is my favorite. I do also can chicken breast. If I do it in a chicken bouillon, I like it. If I dry can it, I don't like the texture so much. So those are two things that I found that I didn't really like, and so I tweaked them, and now I really like them. So ground beef, this is just really nice to have on hand, because if I haven't ran to the grocery store and I need some beef for, you know, quick tacos or sloppy joes or anything like that, it's nice because I have it on my shelf. I'm not taking up room in my freezer. You know, you just scrape off the fat on the top and you are good to go. And this is so tender, you guys, and it has so much flavor. I love it. So ground beef, one of my favorite things to have on my shelf. And then following that, I have to add just canning au jus or onion soup. I know many of you who have learned how to can have canned onion soup yourself. I love having it on my shelf. Not only is it great for just a lunch or a meal, but it's also great to throw in ground beef when you're cooking it up for like loose hamburgers or just added flavor. You can add it to you know, pork. You can add it to roast when you're cooking it in the oven. It's just one of my favorite things to have on the shelf. So this is au jus. I love it. It flavors everything, and it's one of the things I love having on my pantry shelf. Probably one of our favorite vegetables to have. Well, actually both of these are our favorites, but the green beans are they're our go-to veggie. The kids they all love green beans. I don't have any complaints when it comes to green beans. So when push comes to shove and we need a quick vegetable on the side, home canned green beans is what I grab. Followed by the baby organic carrots. These are super sweet and again, just fantastic to have on the shelf. You can have them as side dishes. I use both of these things in chicken pot pie or turkey pot pie. They're just fantastic to have, and these are probably, out of all the vegetables, our two go-tos. We've kind of cut back a lot on corn, so I really only buy corn now frozen in the bag that I can steam up, but we've cut back a lot on that, and now we've really gone to green beans and baby organic carrots. And probably one of my favorite things to can, this is my rebel canning, so is celery. I love having canned celery on my shelf. I use it all the time. I go through it quickly. I have to can it again. But this is one of my rebel canning things. I've learned how to can this from Bev from our half-acre homestead. And honestly, it's probably one of my favorite things. I dump it in everything. Just one jar with the juice and everything, because that's where all the vitamins are. And it's fantastic. It's one of my favorite items. So those are three staples I have to have. That's just something I have to have. Another favorite that I'm actually new to, because this is recent, I just canned this for the first time this year, is asparagus. And I have to tell you, this is fantastic. I don't think I could ever buy canned asparagus again after canning it myself. It's phenomenal. And if you haven't tried it, try it. These jars going out of stock and out of commission was the inspiration to finally give asparagus a try and can it myself. And I tell you, it was super easy and it was a lot of fun, and something I definitely look forward to canning more of. So asparagus, another new favorite. Now we're gonna move on to things that I've canned that I don't really love as much as I thought I would. Now, there is a little bit of an exception here, okay? So I can these three things at the same time. This is zucchini, this is yellow squash, and this is zucchini and yellow squash mixed. I'm gonna say I love the canned zucchini. I go to the canned zucchini quite often. This makes phenomenal zucchini bread. If I want to make a quick zucchini bread and I don't have any zucchini on hand, I just drain this out and it's ready to go. I just dump it in my quick bread and it's fantastic. So zucchini I would do again. The yellow squash, on the other hand, and the zucchini and yellow squash mixed, I would not do again. They're okay. I'm not gonna say that they're bad. People ask me all the time, are they mushy? Yes, they're mushy because of course you've pressure canned them. And because of that, the texture's not really appealing to eat as a side dish or even to, you know, my goal with this was to throw it in with chicken and olive oil and garlic and toss it over some whole wheat pasta, which is one of my favorite dishes. It's a Weight Watcher dish and it's really low in points, but it's really healthy and it's really filling. And it's one of my favorite dishes, but it's a little too mushy and I like the dish much better with fresh veggies. Unfortunately, unlike the zucchini, I can't really dump this in a quick bread. So what I usually do with this is I throw it in pasta sauce. 9 times out of 10, that's where it is, and it's just a way to get extra veggies in my kids. So I don't really mind. But it is mushy. It's just something. It's not anything that I hate. It's just something I probably won't can again, just because it's a texture thing. So nah to these. Another thing that I probably won't can again, dill pickles. It's just, again, for me, it's a texture thing. It doesn't have anything to do with the taste. This was actually Mrs. Wage's dill blend, and I kind of ooped it up a little bit with some garlic and some whole peppers. I don't know. I just don't like soft pickles. I much prefer like refrigerator pickles that aren't cooked down, so they're really crisp. It's just a texture thing. My kids love it. They love them on hamburgers. We use them up. I don't actually have that many jars left of this. You know, one jar lasts forever. I can these actually in the asparagus jars. It's just a texture thing for me, and it's probably not something that I'm going to can again because I'd rather just buy refrigerator pickles or try to make refrigerator pickles myself. But we're not big pickle eaters here. So, you know, in the summer we are, you know, because we grill out a lot, but really in the winter, nobody touches a pickle. So, I probably won't can these again because it just wasn't worth the effort for me for as little as we use them. Another no-go for me was lavender jelly. Now, this was really cool to make because it was very unique. It was very different. I found the recipe online and they sell it like in specialty stores and stuff like that. I used culinary lavender in this, and it's just a very unique taste, and you really have to like lavender in order to enjoy this. Now, this is really good on pork. I've heard that it's good on lamb. We don't eat lamb here, but I heard it's very good on lamb. It's not something though that you would put on a piece of toast and eat. So having this in the fridge for the kids, it's just a no-go. They don't like it. Matt doesn't like it. It's just one of those flavors that you just really have to like. So it's kind of a specialty thing. So maybe as gifts, this would be great for somebody who's hard to shop for, or somebody who likes to cook and enjoys different flavors or likes to cook with lavender. They would probably love this. It was fun to make. I'm glad I made it just to try it because, you know, I mean, that's half the fun, but not something that I probably will ever make again. So the lavender jelly was a no-go. Something else that was a no-go was clove jelly or clove syrup. Now, clove and dandelion, I'm out of the clove. Actually, I gave the last jar to my son who took it to work because they were all excited about it and they all loved it. And this is the dandelion syrup or dandelion jelly. It's very loose. Both dandelion and clover, white clover, are made out of teas. And anytime you can something made out of tea, it's going to have a very loose set. That's just kind of the nature of the game. So first off, you have to like the loose set. Secondly, it's a very unique flavor. So dandelion, I think, was fantastic. I think the clover was really good. They both have a very light lemon taste to them because you add lemon juice to them. But it's not, again, it's not for everybody. To me, this is fantastic over country buttermilk biscuits in the morning on a Sunday morning. But again, it's not everybody's cup of tea. So even though it was a lot of fun to make, and I'm glad I made both, I probably won't make these again just because it wasn't a family favorite. So if I'm going to make it, I need to make sure that everybody eats it. And if all the kids, you know, turn their nose to it and Matt's not a fan, then it just kind of sits on my shelf unless I give it away as gifts. And dandelion and white clover, I probably will not do again. I'm glad I did them though. It was an experience and it was a lot of fun for me, and I've never canned anything made from tea before. So that whole process was really fun for me, and I'm glad I have the experience now, but probably not something that I'll do again. The same with the apple pear syrup. I did make a video on this. I made a lot of jars. I still have quite a few jars left of this, but again, the setup is very, very loose. So you can either thicken it up or you can use it like this. Now this is great in tea. I actually really like it in the winter in my tea. The problem is I'm the only one in the house that drinks tea. So I don't need, you know, 32 jars of apple pear syrup. Again, a really neat process because this was actually made from pear and apple skins. So the whole process and learning how to do that myself was an experience I'm glad I did. And I'm glad I have that behind me now because I know how to do it. But it's probably not something that I will do again just because it's just not being used, and nobody really enjoys it but me. And you know, again, I like it over pancakes. I like it over pancakes. I like it in my tea, but I can't eat, you know, 30-something jars of apple pear syrup. So probably not something that I will can again. As far as chicken goes and beef, I would not dry can them again. I definitely prefer them in a juice or a bouillon of some kind. It just gives it a lot better flavor and it gives it to me a better texture. So those I would not can that way again. But for the most part, guys, I enjoy more things that I can than not. So this has been a really good experience. There hasn't been a whole lot of duds for me. There's been a few that I won't do again. But for the most part, most things that I can, I actually really love and I use, and most of it I use a lot of. Another thing that I really loved canning is pizza sauce. So I love pizza sauce and I love spaghetti sauce, both meat and plain. The pizza sauce I probably use the most of, especially in the cold seasons where I'm making pizza every Friday or Saturday night. But I am an ingredient canner, so I don't make a lot of meals and can them. I can ingredients that I can then take a jar of this and take a jar of that. You know, I can take beef and I can take a spaghetti sauce, or I can take a beef and I can take, you know, beans, and I can take a jar of tomatoes and I can make a chili out of it. And that just works better for me because then I'm not locked in. My beef isn't locked into one certain meal. My beans aren't locked in. My asparagus isn't locked in. My green beans aren't locked in. All of my ingredients are separate. And then I can just throw them together and create whatever meal it is that I want to create, versus having, you know, beef stew and chili and all of these things canned on my shelf and then I'm out of it. Or all I have left is chili and I really don't want chili, I want a beef stew, but I'm out of the canned beef stew. If I have just the ingredients canned, I can really throw together anything that I want. And that is what has worked at least best for me. Everybody is different though, so you as a canner really have to, once you get some experience under your belt, and the more you can, the more you know, and you have a rhythm. You have a rhythm that works for you, a system that works for you, and it begins to be really easy for you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed looking at some of my favorite things that I've canned and some of the not so favorite things that I canned. There's nothing that I've canned that I've absolutely hated, or anything that has come out that has been like, oh, terrible, where it was unedible. The things that I have canned has just not been a favorite or not been as popular as I thought, and just doesn't make it worth canning again. Or, you know, like the yellow squash, just kind of a texture thing, or like the pickles, just kind of a thing that I just don't prefer versus other methods that I can do. So, but I hope this was fun for you. I hope it gave you a little insight, especially for those of you who are on the fence still about canning, or are just new and just getting into it. I wish you nothing but luck and well wishes, and it's empowering, it's exciting, it's good therapy. Like I was telling the girls, you know, on a cold, rainy fall night, I love to open my windows in the kitchen and get my canner out and just can away with the dim lights and just do my thing. I get in a zone, and it's very relaxing. It's good medicine for my soul. It really is. So I encourage any of you who are interested in canning to give it a try. If you're a canner yourself, and if you want to do a video of your own, we would love to watch it. So let us know. Comment down in the comment section with your link to your video, and we will hop on over and watch it, because I would love to know, some of the favorite things that you've canned and some of your not so favorite things, because I still have a lot of branching out to do. There's still a lot of things that I still want to can and try. And it's a growing process. You know, I've known people that have canned for 20 years that, you know, still want to make certain things that they haven't tried yet. And so it's fantastic, and it's a very close-knit community here. So I encourage you, for those of you who have been on the fence or who really want to try to learn about it, to go out, buy yourself a Ball Blue canning book, read up on it, and you can even get that stuff for free at the library. That's how I did it. When I started, I went to a library, I checked out every book I could, and I read for a month before I even attempted to buy a canner. So, but I encourage you, because it's a lot of fun, and it's, like I said, it's really empowering, and it's very good to know that I've got fresh, home canned ingredients on my pantry shelf all the time. And you know, it's just, it has lessened a lot of anxiety for me as far as having, you know, always being prepared for an emergency, or you know, being low on food, and maybe being low on a check, or being sick, and, you know, so your paycheck's low because you haven't been able to work because you've been sick all week. Just knowing that you have stuff in your pantry, and you don't have to worry about going to the grocery store, spending money, or going out if you're not feeling good, it's just really, it's really nice. So, all right guys, with that, I'm gonna leave links down below to my sister friends who are also making videos on this topic, and so their links will be down in my description box, so you can go and check out their channels. I will try to link them also above in cards for you in whichever corner it is. And with that, I will be seeing you later, I am sure, this weekend. I think I have some haul videos that are gonna be coming, because I've got to go to Aldi's. I haven't been in a couple weeks, so those videos are coming. All right guys, I'm talking to you later. Bye.